Hello, NB Ocelot, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Maulhound, talk about your deck's PP. That is your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck, what you hope it can do. Your practicum is the stuff you put in the 99, and if it helps you do that. And I am excited about this deck. Give me ein Clap, Papa. Because we've gone almost entirely wrong in the idea, which is always the most interesting part for me to talk about, right? You go wrong in the practicum. There's always like, go to this O tag. You can even check EDH rec for this type of broad category, but it's like, no, we totally fucked it on the blueprint. We got stuff to talk about. So this deck, we want to create ZugZwang, which is one of my favorite things to do in Commander. So I need you to know, NB Ocelot, that I say all of this with love. I really, really want this deck to work. It's one of the most fun feelings you can create when you do create it. AI overview, get the fuck out of here. So ZugZwang, for those of you who don't know, it's a chess term where every move you can make is bad. You have to do something, but whatever move you do is just going to leave you worse off than you currently are. So the way we're trying to do it, according to this primer, is we have victim cards. These are, I believe, damage redirectors that are meant to get hit. Yeah. Things like Anti-Venom, things like Boros Reckoner, things like Brash Taunter, where you hit me, it's going to bounce the damage back to you. Ha ha ha, that's what you get for trying to attack me. I think where this is breaking down is we have been categorically unable to get anything that generates enough value to make people want to hit us. I think this, like, the moment we swapped to Nelly Borka, this went wrong, in my estimation. I think it does in yours too, because in the primer, which I did read before I started recording, you say, oh, well, Nelly Borka is kind of non-bowing people because it's goading. I think the moment with these types of decks, the moment you do any goad, any direct combat control, we've failed ZugZwang, right? That's not the point of it. The spiritual point of what we're trying to do is we want to say to them, you're free to do whatever you want. Now, is whatever you want going to be bad for you? And maybe you don't actually want it? Sure, you are legally obligated to do it, or to do something, right? The legally obligated part can kind of linguistically connect to goad, but it doesn't spiritually connect to goad. And you identified the way we could do this well, which is Super Friends, which I agree sucks. I hate it. But if we want to create ZugZwang, what we have to do is we have to have these cards that make it bad if you attack me. You have correctly identified these as the victim cards that will bounce damage back. You have also made the positive step of, well, I'm going to buff them, right? I'm going to put some counters on them so that they're bigger, so that when you do attack me, they can live through more things. Or I'm going to make them indestructible. And then that way, when you attack me, oh, very, very bad for you. The problem we're having is they can, for the most part, just leave you alone. And the problem you're going to continue to have is the version of this deck that does what you want spiritually is a Super Friends deck. I'm so sorry to say, I don't like Super Friends either. I find planeswalkers very, very annoying, but they are the best permanent type in all of Magic to create this scenario of hit me or don't. Either way, like, if you hit me, you're going to run into one of my damage Boing Flippers, and that's going to be a problem. And if you ignore me, you're going to have a bigger problem when I get to this ultimate. Now, a thing that might make it slightly more interesting is to change your colors up, or a thing that might give you more wiggle room is to change your colors up. Because what we need, that the planeswalkers right now are like the only thing that can provide for us. We need Inevitability. We need a thing that says, if you wait and wait and wait, I am 100% going to win this game. Boros has very little of those. You can get some things that are pretty close. Is it Ascension? Yeah. Because when you talked about ZugZwang, I didn't think of goad. I thought of things like this. This says if you don't lose life on a turn, you get a quest counter. When you have 4, you can make a 4/4 for 2 mana. That's really good. And that basically says you have to attack me, or something really bad is going to happen. I think that works really well. Whoops. That works really well. What we want to do throughout the deck is get enough of these that we can always have one on the board. So it doesn't have to be planeswalkers. But one thing we're gated by is we're currently working under only 2 colors. Like, I don't think any of your current 99, and this is why I said it was exciting that the idea didn't work, because probably whatever you do is going to involve a complete rebuild, if I'm being totally honest with you. If you want to do anything short of a complete rebuild, what you are doing is Boros Super Friends. If you are willing to do a complete rebuild, you should consider other non-green colors, and what you need to do is you need to come up with things that are either the Ascensions or are things like Planeswalkers, or even bad cards like Muster the Legion. Nope. What the fuck is this card? It's like a 5-mana Boros enchantment. Assemble the Legion. Really bad card. Eventually, you'll have a million guys. I don't even know if this one's good enough, genuinely, unless you're like ramping and you play at turn 4. This is like a turn 12 win or something. But this is the flavor that we're looking for. We're looking for something that will count up and up and up to infinity. The problem with this one is that it doesn't get interrupted by people attacking you. This one probably just gets interrupted by single target removal. It gets interrupted by the green player ramping until they can kill you in 1 hit. A Planeswalker has to be interrupted by people attacking you. Luminarch Ascension has to be interrupted by people attacking you. You could, this is not the right, oh, it is, yeah. Strixhaven Stadium must be interrupted by people attacking you. They can also use single target removal, but these are the ways we create ZugZwang. We can't, the moment we point at somebody and say, your creature is goaded, your creature is forced to attack, your creature cannot attack me, your creature cannot attack Tom, the moment we involve those sentences in these types of ZugZwang decks, I think we have failed. So I'm going to check this tag. See if there's a tag for this. Kind of like a Saboteur. It's kind of like a Saboteur effect, but not really. We can go to Saboteur. I'm not very hopeful about what we're gonna find here, because most of these are just gonna be if you hit somebody good. What other things am I thinking of though? I'm thinking of cards like actually the Magic Mirror. Like this is a type of, but it's really bad. I'm not sure if there is a way across any like 3 or 4 color deck, because we don't want to play green. I'm not sure if there is a way to tie these cards together, but I'm trying to think of cards that just count upwards into infinity, because then we can have +1/+1 stuff to buff our, our victim cards, and then we can have proliferate, and proliferate can both service the +1/+1 that's buffing our victims, and it can proliferate whatever specific counter these like inevitability devices are. I guess we could look at counters matter. Commander, white, red, blue, black. Yeah, everything but green. We're in rub. Black market doesn't really do anything great. Chasm Skulker's got the inevitability. Anim Pakal has inevitability. On gain life, get to do a thing. If I'm alive long enough, I get 8 of these. If I draw enough cards. Like as foretold on all this stuff we're bringing up, or that I'm bringing up. Sorry, I won't put these cards in your mouth. All of these cards capture the inevitability They don't capture combat ZugZwang. I hate it. I hate it because the thing that captures combat ZugZwang is goddamn planeswalkers. It just is. Like the because like this is good. We could do some type of like Jeskai Pramicon business and you try to bully the person to the left of you to swing on you. It could be any Jeskai commander, it could be it could be a Mardu commander, it could be a Grixis commander, whatever it is. But ultimately, all of these inevitability engines are inevitability that check for removal. They don't check for combat. So, do we have anything that's going to be tied to what your life total is? Like they would only work above a certain amount of life. There's things like Felidar Sovereign that check for winning the game. There's things like Sarah Ascendant. Hmm. Oh, what else gives a shit about me having a high life total? I don't think anything. I think most of the things that care, like what I'm thinking of is I don't know if it's the Theros gods or what god said it was, but there's one cycle of gods that's like if life total lower than half, they become indestructible or they become a creature or something. So those get better as we lose life, which is the opposite of what we want. We would want something that's only good provided we're at a high life total so that we can tell people, "Come on, come do something." Yeah, let's go life total matters. Let's see if any of these stand out. I mean, you could Felidar Sovereign. I don't love it, but it does like if you tell people, "Hey, one of my main win cons is Felidar Sovereign." That incentivizes people to keep your life total low. Osmos Elixir kind of does it. It's really, really weak, but it is tied directly to our life total. There's Test of Endurance too. You could run stuff like Speaker of the Heavens. Hmm. Oh, we're probably going to have an issue because we're getting green involved, but Bilbo might be. I'm trying to think of what we can put in the command zone that's going to signal this appropriately because we want to tell people really firmly at the beginning of the game, like, hey, you have to hit me early, you have to hit me often. But Bilbo has green, and he would not have red for a lot of our bounce cards. Also has green. All of these cards are really bad. They're really bad, man. This motherfucker has green too. God damn it. Yeah, and too many of these last ones only care about or want us to have really, really low life. So the only thing I think we can pull that at least incentivizes the ZugZwang is Felidar Sovereign, Cosmos Elixir, Angel of Destiny, Test of Endurance, Speaker of the Heavens. That's 5 cards. You could add that. That's enough to like add into a planeswalker pile to make sure you always had something on the board that was motivating people to swing at you. It's not really enough to. It's not enough to replace the planeswalker contingent. So I think right now we're definitely still on. And then we can toss in Strixhaven Stadium. We can toss in Luminarch Ascension. But right now we're definitely still on. This has to be a Super Friends deck. if you want it to work the way you have laid it out in the primer. We can get a like Nelly Borka Goad deck, that's fine. Past that, where else have we gone awry that we can try to correct? Yeah, people still won't attack me. This is because we're just not, we don't have a positive enough thing on our board. Yeah, too many moving pieces and only wins with a turn 10 Brash Taunter and Star of Extinction or 3-card Pariah combo. That, I mean, I think that win con is not problematic from a power level standpoint, but I think we should have a problem with that win con from a ZugZwang standpoint. We haven't forced anybody to, or people haven't been pushed into a position where they have to make a bad move. You drew ideal 20 damage to everybody. That's solid, but I don't think we're not achieving what we want. We have indestructibility, sure. Okay. So I think we're being drawn to wipes because our strategy is proactively really, really weak. And I do agree with your assessment here that we're being dragged in a couple different directions. I think the things you should be focused on are stuff that's really bad if you don't hit me, stuff that's really fun to block with. Everything else is cuttable, not on a basis of function, but on a basis of achieving the game outcomes we want to achieve, achieving the social situations we want to achieve. Now, obviously, you still want some form of removal. I think we do want some of this buffing behavior, especially because many of our victim cards are just too weak. I would lose redirect. This is not a good enough victim. I don't think this is a good enough victim, but okay. Sure. And then, yeesh, yeah. I see what we're doing here, and I kind of like it. I just don't love it. It's also hard to assess this because I really don't think Nelly Borka should be your commander. I think having something in the command zone that says Goad on it when we're trying to create a ZugZwang deck is like, it's such devastating spiritual friction to me. And so I think a lot of the deck changes when we change commanders to get something else that's going to be a little bit more feasible. So let me see if I can identify maybe a better commander for this. Who's going to have fun planeswalkers? It's not going to be blue. It's probably going to be black. So what does like Mardu have for us? Come on. We're not really going to be sacrificing creatures. Oh. This is perfect. Wait a minute. How did I fucking Monarchy Initiative? Never mind. That's where we should have been the whole time. So you are probably still going to want 1 or 2 planeswalkers. But I would say Queen Marchesa, pretty good self-contained way. You now have card draw attached to you not being hit. You now have to come get the Monarchy from me. I have an easy way to get the Monarchy back. And then we can also go to, it's like White Plume. Yeah, thank God, I've searched him before. Anything that gives us the initiative. There's also you're gonna be tempted by like venture into the dungeon stuff. Don't do that. Venturing into the dungeon is very, very bad, as opposed to the initiative, which is like pretty good. And that can be another way we create ZugZwang, where we go, okay, if you attack me, now I have all these damage redirectors. Black is also going to give you the ability to recur these damage redirectors a lot more easily. Like, you now have access to, Reanimate, Behold the Sinister Six. You have access to, like, just better black card draw. This is what I think the swap should be. I think you should go to Queen Marchesa as your commander. You keep all the victims. You get the Strixhaven Stadium, the Luminarch Ascension, and then you look at cards that have you take the initiative, which also has its own Scryfall tag. So go to the O tagger, go to take the initiative, Commander Mardu. And I think every card in your deck should be a victim enhancer, or a thing that takes the initiative or provides the inevitability, or like creates the ZugZwang. So that third umbrella is going to be takes the initiative, is a planeswalker, is Strixhaven Stadium or Luminarch Ascension. And after that, all we have to do is continue fiddling with the exact mix so that we get a nice curve out of like, okay, now I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have a victim. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get something that makes somebody else want to attack me. And more importantly, the stuff I'm laying down is going to be good enough that if they choose to ignore my bid, because that is the most devastating danger to every like silly haha casual commander player, is what if they just fucking ignore the bid I'm doing? Monarchy and the initiative are good enough that you'll be like, okay, then I'm going to pop off. You have ignored me. I get to Throne of the Dead 3. You have ignored me. I draw 2 cards every turn. You have ignored me. I'm going to use the courts. This is actually, I think most of your victims work at this mana value. I lied. That's not true. Some of your victims work at this mana value, at least 3. I don't think you need to play all the courts, but like Court of Grace could also do it. But that's what you got to do. You got to, instead of creating ways or creating avenues by which your opponents must attack you, create something that can only be stripped from you by being hit, and then make sure that it's good enough that if they choose to ignore you, that's a good trade for you. And then we spiritually have what this has been described to me, in terms of what it's attempting to do. So the shell you need is not a pariah shell. The shell you need is a monarchy shell. And respectfully, this has gone wrong for me many times. I was sitting on another deck idea with Elish Norn that also had this. I decided to combine the ideas. Every time I have ever taken 2 ideas that I thought were pretty good, and I was like, but they're not all the way there alone. I'll just combine them. Deck's been dog shit. Every time. Every deck I've seen from other people, every deck I've seen from myself, every deck I've tried to edit myself. If you're ever like, wow, I have 2 decks that are at 60%. If I put them together, I'll have one deck that's at 120%. Won't that be so good? That's true. There is an integer overflow error. You go back down to 20% and it's just crap. So I wish you the very best. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I've missed here, and I hope you enjoy.